That said, statistics released by the Anti-Defamation League show that there has been a rise in anti-Semitic incidents since Trump took office. Jonathan Greenblatt joins us now from Poway. He is the CEO and the National Director of the Anti-Defamation League. And Clint Van Sant is there as well, joining us. He's a former FBI agent and an MSNBC contributor. Welcome to both of you. Jonathan, I do want to start with you right there at that very sad scene in Poway. What does it say to you that hate crimes against Jewish people are on the rise in this country in 2019?
It is incredibly disturbing to think that in, again, this day and age, we have seen a surge of anti-Semitism literally without precedent, that people are being attacked in the pews while they pray. This is not an issue just for this community. This was an attack on the entire Jewish community, and we need our elected leaders and all folks to respond appropriately and aggressively to this problem.
And Clint, in the meantime, we're so lucky to have you along with us because of your law enforcement background. I want you to listen to what the San Diego police chief had to say today.
Yeah. As he was en route, he also overheard a CHP scanner of a suspect who had called into CHP to report that he was just involved in this shooting, and his location, which was Rancho Bernardo and the Interstate 15. As our officer was exiting the freeway, he clearly saw the suspect in his vehicle. Suspect pulled over, jumped out of his car with his hands up, and was immediately taken into custody.
And Clint, as you hear that, what do you think when you hear that the suspect turned himself in?
Yeah, this is another loser, another wannabe who gets on the internet and he gets this trash on the internet that raises him up. It feeds into his negativity. But this is someone, and I read his manifesto, he wants to live to fight another day. Somehow in his twisted 19-year-old mind, he believes that he'll go to jail, but he'll be released again. That like every other shooter like this, they believe there's going to be some type of national uprising to follow their example. And of course, this guy, his heroes are the shooters from New Zealand, from Pittsburgh, and Adolf Hitler. So that's the three people that he ranks right up on top of his list. He's no fan of Trump's, but he explains that too.
Yeah, and Jonathan, in the meantime, this is of particular note. The FBI is also reporting a rise in hate crimes in the U.S. since Trump took office. Yes. Is it something about his remarks, rhetoric, that fires up people like neo-Nazis?
Well, we know that extremists feel emboldened in this moment because they are saying so. They are encouraged and energized by the fact that their rhetoric literally is finding its way into the talking points, sometimes of the president and other elected officials. But let's be clear about something. Anti-Semitism is a problem across the aisle. Neither side of the political spectrum is exempt from intolerance. So what we need is from our elected leaders not to trivialize it when it happens, not to point fingers, but to step up and speak out firmly and forcefully to say that America is no place for hate, to ensure that our policies go after the global terror threat that is white supremacy. Because as Clint said, there's a through line from Charlottesville to Pittsburgh to Christchurch to here in Poway. And we need policies and programs in place to counter right-wing extremism, even as we recognize that all of us, no matter how we vote, have a responsibility to step up for what we value: pluralism, tolerance, and respect for all people.
And all of that well said, but from a Pittsburgh to Poway standpoint and from the head of the ADL as you are, just give me the emotional aspect that you feel as you get there to the scene after 6 months after some 11 people were gunned down at a synagogue just like that, just worshiping.
Well, look, I spent last night.
We go with Jonathan, Clint, for a moment.
I spent last night praying with the family of the rabbi who was wounded. And I will tell you this, whether it's an attack on Jews in Pittsburgh or Paris or Poway, we will not be broken. We will not be beaten. And we come out of this wounded but stronger. We come out of this clear about the fact that we will drive for Jewish unity. We will stand up and speak out for the privileges and rights that we have in this country, and we will not be bowed or broken. Anti-Semitism is at the core of white supremacist ideology, and let me tell you, like never before at the ADL and across our community. We will stand up and push back against this kind of hate.
And